Let's get after this. You know what it is. It is time for one of those Q&A type shows. Listen, we've done some hardware rearranging this week. Thank you to Daniel and Mr. Camera Yunke. We have, I had to bring the Rodecaster 2 Duo back. Well, Rodecaster Duo, there's no 2 Duo. I had to bring the Rodecaster Duo back to the action. Naze Nadiba, because, I don't know, for some reason, my Mackie was just not doing what I needed it to do. So we gave up and we switched back. So thank you, Camera Junkie and Daniel, for spending some time kicking it, doing the damn thing. Let's see. Yeah, today's Q&A day. So if you guys got questions, bring them through. Normally, when I do Q&A day, I like to have a little something to kick it off before we get deep into the Q&A, and today is no different. So, I just got back from Shure headquarters, and first of all, thank you so much to Shure for flying us out there and whatever. And yes, if you hear one comment about football leaving, well, raise up. Glory, Man United, FA Cup champions of the world. Boom, 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 boom. So those of you who know what I'm talking about, right before this, my team beat their arch rival to win the FA Cup. So, hey, we got trophy. Hey, girl, hey. You know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to go what works. Yo, Stone, man, listen. If you camera ready, bro, jump on, because you can help me talk about what we learned at Shure. So if you're camera ready, jump on. My link is always what it is, docrock.live/join. It's always gangster. Okay, so listen, folks. Here is what I want y'all to do for me. Imagine, if you will, a company that just is really, a lot of companies say they're about the creators, but I can definitely say with pure, I don't even know what the right word is right now. I'm feeling a little verklempt. I can definitely say with pure conviction that Shure is really about that life. And what we learned from them this week, besides the new products that they're working on, and don't ask because we can't tell, don't ask, don't tell policy. Besides the new products that they're working on, they are extremely focused in stepping into the dead center of this creator situation. Now, for the most part, you do need to understand that they are a 99-year-old company. They know exactly what they're doing, and they have been very much audio focused the entire time. Okay. But besides the audio focus for what we think about with the music, and this was a very interesting comment from one of the lovely people that we met this week, my homegirl Sides, Sabrina. She is a producer. She is super dope. But because Sides a musician, because she went to Berkeley, because she's really in the whole audio focus range, she didn't even know that Shure did things outside of music. Okay, like, how much they do in the television space, or how much they do in the medical space, or how much they do in the military space. So it was a real eye-opening to her. And I think oftentimes when people go on the internet and they're talking about, this is the best microphone, this, and the best microphone, that, they sometimes skip the lineage or the heritage. And what I mean by that is, if you are going to, this happens all the time in sports, this happens all the time in jobs, right? Maybe this person that you're going to hire doesn't have exactly the requirements or the specs that you're looking for, but it's something that you see in them, in their character, in their being, that says, you know what, I'm going to take a chance on them anyway because they present themselves properly, right? I think Shure fits into that category when it comes to this, as we're talking about it, for the simple reason that they, again, because they are a 99-year-old business, they know exactly what they're doing. When they make decisions, you can trust. There's just a level of trust there. And something that I've been trying to tell you guys for the longest time, regardless of what you hear on YouTube, companies are not out to get you. You're not a victim here. You are a customer. They're not trying to get you. They're not trying to jack you. They're not trying to, let me make this one model a half a second better than the other model so that I can jack you and make you buy something new. That's just not really what goes on. That level of victim mentality really chaps my nads because it's super stupid. You bought this product. Okay, let's just say, I don't want to switch companies at the moment, but let's just say you bought this memory card case. And it's working fine for you. It's serving you properly. It's doing what it's supposed to do. And then let's say next year the company comes out with another version of this where the outside is carbon fiber instead of this little aluminum. They're not necessarily meaning for you to buy a new one. They're going after the people who haven't bought one yet, or they're going after the person that has a 5-year-old one of this. It is super arrogant to think that every time they drop the product, they're coming to get you. If these guys don't continue to add, then they fail. Could you imagine where we would be if McDonald's never came off a hamburger and shakes? When Ray started the business, they had hamburgers and shakes. Fries came later, okay? They legit had 2 things on the menu, ambugasa and a shake. And so the innovation is, hey, let's slap some cheese on that mother. Okay, bingo. All right, then the next innovation is, hey, let's cut up potatoes into sticks and fry them in oil with a splash of sugar and serve that up, right? And then the next innovation was, what if we took 2 of those patties and some special sauce? You know what I mean? What the hell is special sauce? Here's the innovation, ketchup and mayonnaise. Like, it's super stupid. It's super stupid to believe that companies are looking directly at you, Kevin, and like, I'm going to make another one with the incremental change just so that I can F Kevin. Like, that is dumb. And I hate when people say that. It's so stupid. It's super victim-oriented, but understanding the way that people understand the algorithms, the reason why other people love to tell you this crap is because negativity and fake outrage sells extremely well in today's culture. So that's what it is. So what's really dope is we get there and they have everybody from their software team, their wireless team, their mobile team, the SM7B team, the MV7 team, the Nexadyne team. You're like, what's a Nexadyne? I'll show you in a second. They had the marketing team. They had the product managers. Everybody's in the room, and they had a couple people sitting back at headquarters on the Microsoft Teams. And they're watching us with some cameras in the back, and we have speakers in the ceiling. And so they're like, what do you want? So I legit gave them concerns that have come directly from our community. Mary Lou has given them concerns that came directly from the community. Sabrina and Chris, who's in the chat, Stone, he's given information directly from the community. So we got the opportunity to not only speak for what we would like to see from Shure, we had the opportunity to share what you guys would want to see from Shure. And Brother Kurt, you guys know Kurt, how it all works. Brother Kurt Nugget, he sat around and says, you know what the community needs? They need a good, simple, inexpensive, lightweight interface, Shure branded. So they're not mix matching, some other brand with another brand, and something that Shure could easily do and bring their 100 years of knowledge, 99, let's not get crazy. You can bring a century of knowledge together and put it down, right? And they were like, all right, bet, like taking notes, like the whole 9 yards. We had an opportunity to talk about the Motiv software and what a clutch, setup that is, that you could use the Motiv software built in. But we talked about some of the things that we needed. Like for me, I fessed up because I was like, I have closed that app 4 times while I'm live and talking into the mic, and it goes mute, and then Paul's going psycho, hitting me up, you're on mute, and I don't even know because I just don't know. So like, I had even an opportunity to talk to them about that. I was like, listen, I need the Motive app to not allow my dumb butt to close it while I'm talking into it. And, you know, they were like legit taking notes, right? Legit taking notes and getting themselves familiar with what it is that we do. So that was an amazing adventure, and it was cool. Now, again, we are Q&A mode, so if you got questions, drop them in the chat. I am going to show you one of the cool things that they hooked a brother up with for going there. This is a Nexadyne, and Shure has basically all microphones that they have one of three sort of capsules, right? They have your Unidyne capsules, and then we're talking dynamics anyway. You have your Unidyne capsules, you have your dual dyne capsules, and then you have your Nexadyne capsules. This is the latest situation that they have just put out. And what's really crazy about this microphone is there's actually little motors in here that help the capsule move accordingly as you sang or talk or whatever. So in a microphone, I'm not going to disassemble the one I'm talking in right now, but you've all seen inside here, the little piece in the middle. Hold your ears. This little piece down in here, you can't see that. There. That is the capsule. That little piece right there. The rest of that is designed to help you do this thing. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. Sorry about that noise. All right. So let me pop this on real quick. Eileen has a question. I'm confused about the Shure Plus Motive app, the old one. How do I move my custom settings to the mode of the Mix app? Just reset them. It's not that hard. Like, here, I think I might still have the old joint. I don't know if it'll work, but let's take a look, because just set them. There's only like 6 sliders. Like, it's not that difficult. Let's see. Will it even wake up without a mic plugged in? I might have to plug in a mic, or it might not work now that the new one's in the way. Nope, it's coming. It's coming. La 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 la. Let us pray. I'm gonna throw this baby up on the screen. It's probably going to complain that I don't have what it takes. Let's do tall. Bingo. Let's select. What the heck kind of word is select? All right, so let's go. Yes, it is going to require me to plug in the microphone. Hold 1 second. Oh, bro, you don't even know. It's coming. Here, let me bring on Chrissy real quick, and then we're going to get into answering Eileen's question. I'm going to answer this. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. And then, you know what? We're just going to make a whole new scene. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Let me click on this overlay and X that. Let's make a brand new. And then pop my little camera here like such. Bingo. And then drag me over here so I can pretend to be 2 of me. And then let's put Chris on the camera. Bingo. Chrissy in there. What is up, my brother?
What's going on, man?
And come here.
You made it back in one piece.
All right, Chris is still muted. Yeah, Chris is still muted. He's coming. Don't worry. Don't worry. Why are you muted, Chris? I have you here. Interview sound up. I have interview sound up. You should be good. I can't hear you, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, there. We're going to pretend. We're going to call it a day. Listen. Boom. He said, oh, that Chris.
Still no good? You don't got me?
All right, let me plug in the mic real quick. Where is this MV7
1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've never plugged the MV7 Plus to the old app, so I'm super curious.
1, 2,
is what it
1,
is.
2.
Oh, you guys hear him. Sorry, that is me. I got it. All right, now say something, Chris.
What's good?
Oh, there you go. He's stupid. That's really dope. I had my slider down. Yo, he said, we hear him. He ain't muted. You stupid. Hey, you know what it is?
This is how you know you got good community, because they're all like tech check in the chat. What's up, Miss Eileen?
This is what I'm saying. And the other thing that I want, I don't know if there's any new people here. Listen, if things go weird, nobody cares, man. Like, just literally just hang out and talk to them. They'll be super fine about it. But people get like super bent out of shape. Like, oh my God, my thing didn't work and my community is going to hate me. Like, no, they're not. They don't care. All right.
Got that
So
motive up. I like that.
this particular app does not like the brand new mic. So let me grab an older Motive mic. I don't have an MV7, but I do have a MV88. I only had the MV7X because, I was XLR. I never had the regular MV7. But let me plug this in. What Miss Eileen is wanting to know is basically how to move the settings from the Motive Mix old app to the new app. Actually, the new app is called Motive Mix. You know what I'm saying? Freaking
So
rich.
her settings from the MV7 that she set up in the
yeah,
the
this
old
is
app.
true what Chris is about to say. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean MV7 is supposed to be, I think in a month you'll be able to put the MV7 in Motive Mix. You'll be able to import that. This thing's still in
Well,
beta.
One thing that we learned, which is actually pretty cool, because like I'm always giving Katie crap because she'll use the MV7 without ever putting in the application or turning the app on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Katie, open the app. And she's like, yeah, I forgot. What's really cool, the app, the settings that you need are set by Shure out of the box from the factory, like the baseline settings. And what they set is for is best common denominator. Now, you are going to have some special things that you need to do that match you, but for the most part, their engineers who are very brilliant have already set that microphone to perform its best out of the gate. Now, if you are Luis and you have nephew on the floor playing that game, which drives Teal crazy, or if you're Paul and your air conditioning is legit sitting on top of you because you're going through menopause and you have hot flashes, then you might need to adjust the noise gate or something of that nature. But for the most part, it's set up out of the gate. And here's what's fresh to death that pretty much not a lot of us spoke about. When you set the settings in the app for this, it stays in here. Like it gets
Travels
stored
with
here and not the computer. On all the Motive microphones, when you set these settings with the Motive apps, it stores the information in the microphone itself. So if you pick that mic up and go into a different place, it will have the settings of the old place. And so I have legit heard Ken say, why did this microphone sound funny here? Because it wasn't set for that room. It was set for the other. We have two Ecamm offices because the twins, they got to separate each other every once in a while so they don't box. And yeah, like it just totally sounds different in a different office because of different makeup and material. So understand that it does stay
Well,
in
the other thing that helps, Doc, is what we got all the time on Dealcasters, on all our videos and all our comments was like people set up their mics and then they go to work and they take their mics with them, and they can't install that software, that proprietary software, on their work computers. So set it up on your personal computer, get the sound that you like, and then hook it up to your work computer, and all of the settings are there. They travel with the mic. So it's, I mean, if you're in a different room, yeah, you're gonna get a different sound for it. So if you're setting it up for one room and taking it to another, yeah, the AB is not going to be exactly the same. But for people that use their computers,
you just made me think of something, brother. You just made me think of something good. Because I know you can send the settings to the microphone. I'm wondering when you first plug the microphone into the app, if the app reads the settings from the microphone, because they're not stored in the computer. So in which case, she don't have to transfer any settings. They're stored in the mic. When she plugs it in, it will just be there. It'll already be as the settings were. The other thing that you just made me think of, if you do have to transport this to your office, like you said, plug it into your phone with the USB cable. Look, if you have an iPhone 15, gangster, same cable. If not, Shure does sell a mic to phone cable, which you can use for Instagram and YouTube Lives, Zoom, things like that nature. You can set those settings with the Motive app on Motive Mobile, and they will get stored in the microphone, And then so yeah, because in a work environment, like Chris said, you can't always install some weird stuff. Just use your phone. Just plug it into
Think
your
about
phone.
this. I do this all the time with my clients. You're sending mics around, and we used to send out around, sometimes just be SM58s, because they're, ladies and gentlemen, another great podcast microphone, not intended for that, but has some handling noises, doesn't handle plosives, things like that. We send around MV7s, to people that we know don't have a good setup. And by the way, just because they're CEO before their names doesn't mean they have a good setup. And so what you end up doing is you end up sending them MV7s to use, for a podcast. Now you set it up in MV7 Plus, you set it up in the Motive Mix software and send that to a client, and it's ready. They just plug it right into their computer, and it already kills the air conditioning sounds, already kills all that stuff in the background. It's ready to go. And you keep it simple, stupid. That's just the way it is.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you real quick. We're going to make a couple of adjustments. We're going to move this to, say, 28, because that's my number. Of course, my fingers won't do it. We'll leave it there. We'll put it on that. We'll open the pattern. Oh, I see. Now you want to move back. Let's turn the compressor to medium. And we don't really need a high pass, but I just want to show you something. So if we dip this, pick this up, and then lift this. Now, in theory, these settings are moved to this microphone. So, in theory, if I disconnect this microphone now, bingo, and plug it to my phone, those settings will still be in with the Motive Mix on the phone. So, I just realized something. Oh, it actually might be in here. I was going to say, I don't know if I have a USB to one of these guys, but it might be in this bag. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom.
So you were doing the MV88. You were setting up
because I don't have
MV88 in Motive.
Yeah, because I don't have a,
custom.
what you call that other thing? What did I say the other thing was? I don't have a
Seed of Lightning,
MV7,
or?
MV7, and no, I have a USB-C. The MV7 Plus does not show up in the old app. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
Right.
So let's plug in the new app and see if it shows up. Let's do it that way. That'd be a cool way to just check. All right, we get Motive Mix. Let me adjust the shape of this here window. All right, and put that here. Adjust the shape of this window to normal.
I love that Motive Mix is not brand agnostic.
Yeah, I think
whatever
that
you've
is cool,
got,
too.
you can plug it in there as a mixer and use it as a virtual mic.
For basically any software, which is kind of cool, right? You don't have to
record
worry
individual.
about, some weird, software. You can use any mic with it. There you go. So let's try this. Bingo. Sorry, Glitch, you got to be close to me. All right, cool. So let's see what happens if we plug this back in, because that's basically what Miss Eileen is trying to do, is to see if it works. Now, they did say that they are going to do some updates to the Motive Mix app. It is still in beta, so they are adding some other microphones. So if your microphone isn't here just yet, it is coming. And look, it just said, do you want to update now? Boom.
I just switched to Nexidine.
You set yours up already?
Oh, yeah. I've already done 3 shows with it.
I finally have a microphone in my collection that my brother June can't come and steal from me.
As branded, baby.
It is branded. They'll be like, June, why does your mic say Doc Rock? He'd be like, oh, that's my brother. He's a dick. Yeah, so Keely said the same thing. When she installed the Motive Mix beta, her settings migrated to the new app. And that's because the settings aren't actually stored in your computer. The settings are stored on the microphone itself. And then so that's that's pretty cool. My brother said, that's what you think. Listen, Chris, tell my little brother how much he would have loved the archive.
Man, that was, if you are a sound nerd like we are, like the two people on your screen, it was like, I mean, you forget everything else. You forget that you had to eat, you forget that you had to sleep, you forget everything else, and you're looking at like the presidential podium with two Shure SM57s on it. You're looking at like military stuff that never saw the light of day with Shure microphones, built into them. Solid gold microphones. The SM7 that Michael Jackson used on Thriller. Like, just, dude. Even Rose Shure's weird painting that she had in her office. Did you see that, Doc?
Yes.
With the angelic babies holding the Shure microphones. That was a trip. That was an absolute trip.
It was the overall like setup of everything that they had. The overall flow of the office, the individual rooms for testing and everything, but in the archive itself specifically, what was amazing to me is because we used to be Shure dealers, I'm able to go in there and see things that we used to sell, and they are brand new in the box. Like they kept copies of everything that they ever made. When you are 100-year-old company, you make a lot of stuff. So one of the things that was interesting to me is Eden, her name was Eden, which was also funny to me considering our bestie. Eden says, "Oh, did you know that Shure made phonographic needles?" And I was like, "Absolutely. DJ, hello." And I go, "We used to sell Shure needles." And then so she brings out the little case that has all the needles in it. We have that exact case in our store with all the individual points. And yeah, bro, inside the anechoic chamber, they had that giant Tannoy reference speaker. We were also Tannoy dealers. Yeah. Matter of fact, I have two Tannoy speakers in the back office, like right there, from when I used to have my tube amp set up in my office. So listen, fam, I made a video of my iPhone in there, and I haven't transferred it yet, but you have never heard the sound quality on an iPhone sound so good as it did when I had that sucker running. Yes, June, stylus, okay? Stylus. Yeah. I'll use the proper terminology.
And you heard, I know you and I did the tours at separate times. There was like 15 of us, just didn't have that feedback from that community in order to know that they still should be making some of these things. But anyway.
No, what happened, which is super funny, I would never install the Motive Mix app while you're live. It actually stopped the stream for like 10 seconds, and then I just resumed it. I just resumed it. That was super funny. Like, it totally makes sense, and I'm assuming we're back now, but yeah, I guess that was stupid. Don't do that. That was borderline dumb. It says, "Why do you guys use the Motive Mix app when you can use an interface to dial in the sound?" Well, because you cannot use the interface when you don't have an XLR interface. This particular mic does have that on there, but when I was showing this microphone off to the community, I was addressing the people who aren't going to buy a Rodecaster Duo or Rodecaster Pro, or what is it? This other thing I have, the DLZ Creator and the DLZ Creator XS, or the Focusrite, which Chris loves, a bunch of other things like that. See, as you can see now, the DLZ is right there because it was being a jerk and it wouldn't let me set my microphone the way I wanted. So many times, a lot of people in our community only have this. The other thing is, because we are launching Ecamm for Zoom, I wanted to, like, the minute we rolled out an alpha, the normal nerds, Paul, Daniel, Alec, Rabbi David, Andy, they're all like, "Hey, this is not doing this and this is not doing that." And I go, "Listen, when you go to alpha test something, you need to take your mixer out. You need to test it from the lowest common denominator. Grab a USB mic and then test it. And then let's work from there. You don't immediately come out the strip show full naked. That's just stupid. That's not how it works."
And the other thing too, Doc, and you brought this up in the meetings when we were talking about the Plus, is that so many people that have all of this gear and all these XLR mics, and they're plugging it into Rodecaster Pros, and they're plugging it into Scarlett Focusrite, all of this stuff. The thinking is USB is sub to XLR. And I think that was the conversation. We spent a good bit of time in those meetings talking about it. And look, not all these mics are for you, right? But they are for most people. And by the way, Shure actually did some good things with the MV7, especially during the pandemic. Why a hugely successful podcast microphone? Why? Because when you plug it in, it works.
It works. There you go. And well, I brought up the reason why it was so popular is because it allowed people to have the microphone that Voldemort uses. I'm not going to say his name. He irritates me. But everybody has the microphone that Voldemort uses, but it looks similar and it sounds similar, but it's way cheaper and less complicated for those who don't need. So, yeah, I think it's important, even for all of us that have interfaces, that you have a USB mic on standby, because you have all been here when the Rodecaster freaked out or something just weird was going on, and I just grabbed this guy and plug it in. You have an X2? Is that what you have in your hand?
Or this is MVX.
Yeah, so I have that too.
MV7X.
My X is over there, out of reach. But yeah, same thing. That's an XLR version. So they made an XLR version later. But I think anybody who's doing this, if you are an interface-oriented person, have your USB backup mic on standby where you can just grab it and plug it in case something goes psycho, which we have all known that if Doc is streaming, is about to happen. Okay, so now that I've done this update here, I can see that the MV88 does show. And in theory, if I press this button, the settings are exactly as we set them. 28.5, speech, stereo, limiter, compressor mid, high pass at 75, and the equalizer exactly as I set it in the other app. So proof positive that the V's store the information in the microphone. And the way you know if you're, this is going to be weird. I'll say something and then I'll take it back and I'll say it again. Okay. If your microphone is MV, it's a Motiv mic. So it works with this application. Now I'm going to take that back because the dope part about the Motiv Mix app, as Chris stated, it works with just about any microphone. So I can literally grab the audio from my ZV-E1 and drag it in here. I'm not going to use it. Let me make sure it doesn't start making noise. And I can control that audio of my ZV-E1 from here. Now, I don't have any settings for it because it's a camera, but I would be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't
and
like the sample rate. Huh? Yeah, you can
record it.
Yes. Now, you know.
I mean, think about this for people like we just talked about that just want to plug in a mic, USB. And they've got some other sound source. Maybe they got a webcam mic, and maybe they have somebody else in a room that's plugging in. You could do this and record it and do a podcast simply from a laptop, with two microphones and record it. Now, I mean, is it going to sound amazing? Maybe not. I mean, depending on room and all of that stuff. But man, it's going to be good enough to move on.
Yes, and now see the path. Okay, so let's cover something real quick. And again, we talked about this a little bit while we were at Shure. I've always known this. I've always said this. Unfortunately, the internet doesn't know this. And people have huge fights about it. Let's just give ourselves an easy number. It's probably older, but from the pandemic forward, there is no difference between any microphone that you're going to buy that's USB and XLR. And the reason for that is all of the modern USB mics have basically just a digital interface built in. Oh, never mind. Let's close that zip real quick. Look at that look in your face, Chrissy. So in here, there is a little interface. Chris and I have a little unit That did not sound right. We have a little adapter.
Speak for yourself, please, sir.
We have a little adapter called the MVX2U, and that in itself is a little USB
upstairs.
interface. I'm looking for mine. I think I took it upstairs because I was going to pack it. Then I realized I didn't need to bring it. Yeah, it's upstairs.
Looks like a cigarette lighter adapter.
Yeah, it looks like a cigarette lighter adapter. So that is basically inside this microphone. So at the moment that the DA converter, digital to analog converter, or DAC, as we often say, the moment the DAC grabs the signal from this capsule, it is no different than if it went straight out to XLR. The one thing that makes that slightly different is because there's no expectation of an interface, the application, Motive, will allow you to do compression and volume changes, add a little reverb, 3 types of reverb, add the digital popper stopper, things of that nature. So the reason why that doesn't work on the XLR side is because this is analog. This is not digital, so therefore software can't control it. But the DAC or DSP, digital signal processor, is inside your interface. If that's an Apollo, you got the most gangster one that most people are going to put on their desk. There's things bigger than the Apollo, but let's just say if you're Keith and you rocking the Apollo, you got a pretty dope digital mixer. If you are using an analog mixer like my old Allen and Heath Z12X, or if I was going to plug it into a Neves SSL board or something of that nature, all the processing is happening in that mixer board and then side chains and things of that nature. So the raw signal out of the USB and the raw signal out of the XLR are identical, and people lose their crap over it. It's super crazy. Even people would lose their crap over, which one is better, the uncompressed digital file versus the uncompressed analog file. It has been tested. Scientifically, there's no difference. Yep. But you can't tell that to nerds, because even idiots like me who bought really expensive DA converters in order to try to make it sound good. But yeah, the modern day, what you pull off of a vinyl analog with good, reference needles, stylus, sorry, June, speakers, amplifiers, and what the digital reproduction of that, they're basically the same. They're so negligible to the human ear.
Yeah, and it the MV7 Plus, and I've said this, it's the best USB mic I've ever spoken into or played around with, and the reason is that noise suppression, and it just someone in here in the chat mentioned the Samson Q2U. I think they're great mics, absolutely great mics, as far as USB is concerned. I think there is a slight difference between the XLR and the USB, but it's negligible. We're dealing with the people. We're dealing with the 98%, right? And,
right.
And that's and so the 2%, many of which are here watching, listening, they are in the 2%. We're in the 2% too. We're the ones that if we really put on monitors over our ears and we listen and we close our eyes, we can tell the difference between an MV7 and an MV7X. But 98% of people are not going to be able to tell the difference. But I tell you what, 100% of everyone will tell the difference of, Doc, and that is when you have the MV7 Plus without the noise suppression, and then you turn on the noise suppression, and then you turn it off again. 100% of you will notice a difference, and you'll go, well, I didn't know I had that sound in my studio. I didn't know that there was that little that you could barely hear maybe in the background.
You can hear it. It's so crazy.
You can absolutely hear it, and that's what makes it a step above. And that's why we send it around to our clients. I am sick of hearing that when I'm editing a podcast, I'm sick of hearing that little that's in the background. Now it's gone.
Yes. And it's funny. All right, I'm going to have to commit seppuku real quick. 2 things. First, do you have a brother, Chris?
I have 3 older brothers. Yes, sir.
Oh, God, so you're the little one.
I'm the baby.
Are you an a-hole to them?
No, but I could tell you that they were to me.
Okay,
Because I
'cause
was a
listen,
little brother.
this guy said technically it's an ADC, analog to digital converter. He's right.
Wow.
Okay, see what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like he knew exactly what I meant. They knew what I
See,
meant.
right, but
He
you say
gotta,
ADC, people think, well, ACDC, right?
yeah.
That's what they're thinking. But, it's easier to say DAC. So now
Oh
your
my
new name is
God.
DAC Rock. All right.
Oh my God. Oh God. Now we're gonna do AC/DC references. Oh, I'm gonna start singing now. Let me stop. Let me stop before it comes out.
All right,
Anyway,
Thunderstruck.
June, shut
Yeah.
up. Now I'm gonna follow my sword real quick. So during the Zoom for Ecamm testing, it was myself, Daniel, Mr. Camera Junkie, Gretchen, right? We're just sampling things out. And Daniel was like, listen, we're going to power through the settings on your mixer because it ain't sounding like the Dr. Rock that I know. And I'm like, no, man, it's fine. And then Luis was like, no, it's not. And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, we've been telling you for like a couple weeks, but you don't listen. It ain't right. And I'm like, but it sounds right to me. And they both just laughed because that is the true story of the game. Never just go by what you hear. You do have to like send it to a friend, let somebody else check it out and see what they get because you become accustomed to it, right? Like Chris Rock used to say, she accustomed to some things, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, we ended up going through all of these settings. We tried everything. We did all of the work. We just didn't. It wasn't right. And they were like, yo, this is not your product, bro. Just disconnect it and put the damn Rodecaster back. And I was like, all right. Because there's things that I love about the DLZ creator. And features-wise, they're kind of sort of the same. But my voice is so deep that the extra drive that I need, like it'll sound fine on other people. But they're like, your voice doesn't work. And you want to know what the setting was? Strangely enough, even in the Rodecaster here, I needed to turn off the compressor. With the type of compressor that's built in here, it's a very limited compressor. That's funny to say that. It's a limited compressor. Those of you who know, you know. If you don't know,
different things.
my bad. You missed a dope joke. It's a very limited compressor. So it doesn't have the range to deal with the level of bass that I have in my voice. And then eventually we're just like, heck it, put the Rodecaster back because its compressor, although similar, it's different. And I can kind of sort of jerry rig it to make it work. So by all means, when you do your mixes, regardless of what it is, don't be the final ear before it turns into MP3. Send it to some friends. Let them do it. And Mr. Camera Junkie and Daniel had so much fun making fun of me for being a hardhead. And I was like, you know what? Shut up, both of y'all. June is stupid. I'm going away. I am going away. Okay, so Yolanda says, I use the MV7 with USB, and I just received a comment from a subscriber my volume is too low, which I agree with in terms of the mic. With more gain or volume, do you recommend? Neither. Keep using your MV7. Let's just... The one thing that nobody does, and I'm going to guess, I could just go cheat and look at your video, but I'm going to guess you have it too far away from your face. Microphones, write this down, everyone in the chat. Microphones are not magicians. They do not reach across the floor and magically bring the sound. People love to be over here having a conversation and wonder why their volume does not sound as good as it does over here. Because this mic is designed for this.
That's right.
That's what it's for. This mic is this mic's little brother. This is Doc, this is June. It's also designed for here. Okay? It's smaller, it's pain in the ass, smart aleck, but this is June. So, you just have to talk to it correctly, and you can address it at like 30. You can address it like sort of direct and across, but what you don't want to do is like address it like upside down unless it's like right here. You know what I mean? And most people don't do that. People have it like way over here like this, addressed in the wrong angle. This capsule is right here, and this is what you're trying to talk to. So in theory, like this is bad, but I have it pointed at my chin. If I tilt it up too much, you're going to hear a lot more plosives, right?
Right.
So it needs to be literally 4 to 6 inches away from your face. After you get past that, you're making the mic do things it ain't really designed to do. And in which case, you would need a mic that's designed to do that reaching. They kind of sort of don't exist. The
Right.
best
And
thing
she
in the
has
market,
specifically the SM7B, which you're actually making things worse in terms of gain, right?
Yeah.
So in SM7B, you need extra gain even more so than your MV7, meaning you need a cloud lifter, or you need to crank up your interface. And if you've got an MV7, you may not be using an interface. You may be just plugging into USB. You plug in USB, you can that app that Doc had up, the Shure Motive Plus, you can crank your gain up in there. But when you do that, you're raising your noise floor. So you're bringing in some of the stuff in your noise. It's not just making your voice louder, it's making everything that the mic is picking up louder. So when Doc backed up, you could hear some reflections a little bit in his room. That microphone is reaching for, essentially, it's reaching for the sounds it's hearing, and when he leans back, his voice is bouncing off of different things between the loudness of his voice and the distance in his microphone. So it's hearing those echoes and reflections. So if you're not loud enough, get your mic closer to your face, and that way, and then go from there, and then go from cranking your gain. Otherwise, you're going to be inserting some noises that you don't want in your show.
well, Yolanda, it seems like she has her MV7 plugged into the Rodecaster Duo, in which case this is going to be some Rodecaster Duo setting up, adjusting that you're going to need to do. Because then you don't need the Motive Mix app, as Keely was stating, because Keely is right. Most people are not really powering it enough, and part of the reason is exactly what I did, and I effing know better. You're judging how loud it is off of your headphones, right? Now, the other thing, Yolanda, which I think is very important, and we bring this up in this show all the time, if one person in your crew says that it's not loud enough, ignore them. If everybody says it's not loud enough, then listen. And that's because you got people like Mark that come up in here and say that there was an echo, and I was about to touch something, and then Rich was like, nope, there's no echo. So you got to be careful that we want to give the best. We want to put out the best. You got to be careful. Make sure that multiple people are giving you that answer to make sure that you have it going on. And yes, and then Keely brings up, check your mic address. This is your mic address, right? Yolanda says she is sitting close to the mic. And then, so yeah, you need to, you probably need to get in there and adjust your gain settings on your mic. Now, the other thing, which is funny, and we went through this yesterday with the DLZ Creator, I had that thing basically pegging, and Daniel was like, nah, it's still not giving enough. And he's like, that's weird. And he was saying that, okay, like if I was to pull up my Ecamm real quick, believe it or not, for this particular setup, he goes, you really need to be kissing the yellow. And I normally would never kiss the yellow. Like, I don't like that. That's against all rules to me. But he goes, with your setup, the way you're doing it with your deep voice, you actually have to kiss the yellow. And now you can see that I'm kissing the yellow, and then it's better. That haunts me. That haunts everything I know about gain staging. But Daniel and Luis confirmed, the recording confirmed, so you might have to kiss the yellow. So what I would do is say, let's jump into the Discord, Yolanda, and let's get you dialed in. Because you probably don't need to go out and buy a new mic. And the SM7B, while though it is a better mic, you probably don't need to. That may be more of a want to, right? Nobody needs an SM7B. You want an SM7B.
And I would say get a SM7DB if you had that budget.
Correct,
right?
because then that has
it's got the cloud in it. It's got the preamp in it.
Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to point out, and like, let me back this up. Where'd it go? Sean is in the building. Sean, I love Bandrew. He's literally one of my favorite creators. He's out of his mind. If you it's just, perception is perception. If you test these things with audio equipment, they're going to be the same. The one reason why this test is very hard to do, though, is because once you connect it to the XLR, it's no longer just the mic, right? Once you connect it to the XLR, the interface will have so much to do with how much more gain that you can put out. For instance, you can't put a preamp in the XLR chain. In the USB chain, right? So you can't go add a 25 dB preamp like a Cloud Lifter or a Dynamite or, well, Soyuz is not really transparent, but let's just say Soyuz or, a Rolls. You can't do that. So before it hits the converter and on the way out of the converter, they're exactly the same. There's no difference. And people say they hear it is because they've always been told that XLR sounds better, so they believe it. It's physics, bro. It's legit physics. We stood in the laboratory with the physics testing machines, multi-million-dollar machines. Trust me, they're the same.
I know Bander had an issue with the MVX2U, and then they updated the firmware and it solved it. So,
Yes.
which looks like a separate issue.
Well, and that's the other thing about USB mics. That's beautiful thing about USB mics is there will be the opportunity to do some upgrades. So, for instance, if I go to this, you'll see right there in the bottom blue, it says, "Hey, do you want?" It said, "Do you want to upgrade?" Before. Now it says this is the newest version. What happened when the stream died is my dumb self tried to update this on the fly. So don't do that. But anyway, yes, you a lot of times when it comes to these guys, they will have firmware updates which will fix some of that stuff. And all you got to do is tell them. Like, here's my thing with the internet. Very much so. Oh my God, I just bought this $250 microphone and the company is trying to F me because it doesn't work. You told the whole internet, you got all the clicks, but did you send an email to Mike and them back at Shure? No. Because if you did, they would know. I know that when I told Mike my problem, he goes, "Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't think of that." He wrote the damn software. Different perspective, right?
Yeah,
The
it's
updates
crazy,
we have
the
in eCamera
testing.
because you guys ask, right? Good.
The testing that they do when someone has an issue and they send a microphone back, like there's some sort of short issue, and the machines that they have, like you walked into their testing facility and they say what you're standing in is a $25 million Swiss Army knife. So
Yes.
basically, like, this will test, and they walked us through all of this stuff. And when I walked out of there, there was a level of respect that went from here to here because I knew that there was some sort of testing that went through. But they have this X-ray machine, which basically took up a quarter of that 20 million or whatever. And they had something that somebody had an issue with, and it goes through the scanning process where it slightly turns and it scans this whole thing like a super X-ray type of deal. And they can focus in and they never open up the item, because if you open it up, then you'll never see what the issue is. You have to completely replicate the issue and then scan it to be able to tell what's inside it that's causing that issue. And they went into the most finite thing, and then they explained this whole situation, which I don't know how much I can share on this, but it saved multiple millions of dollars. But the what I'm getting to is when a car company makes a car and then there's an issue with one car, they put it aside and they wait for more issues to stack up before they actually go through this process and then it becomes a recall. When Shure has a problem with one item, they go through this process. And I was like, to me, that's incredible. When you consider how many products that they churn out, when they have an issue with one microphone they create all kinds of stuff for military, for conference room systems, for all kinds of different things. When there is one issue, they put it through that, and they put through that whole thing because they don't wait for hundreds of issues to actually solve these issues.
And
Pretty incredible.
The two things that I left with, I've been saying this forever. there's a difference between 99 years of know-how and history and $99 on Amazon. Okay? A lot of you guys automatically go to the price. These things cost what they cost for a reason, right? It ain't the cheapest, but it also not the most expensive either. Not even close. Again, right next to me on the floor, there's like a $3,000 mic, which would take 20 minutes to heat up. But it ain't, you know, don't just think that 400 for SM7B is expensive. In microphone game, it's actually relatively cheap. Like it is Corolla Deluxe instead of, you know, like a Yugo. So, Sean, listen, this one is going to be a challenge for you. And I'll explain why in a second. The MVX2U with the SM7B should have enough to drive it. But in a lot of times, the noise floor that you hear is not what comes out, right? And part of that is because when you crank the headphones up, because we are men of a certain vintage, when you crank the headphones up in your interface, some of the noise that you're hearing in pre-fader is actually coming from your interface to your headset. Especially, I'm using very high sensitivity in-ear monitors. Now, if you have reference interface, reference monitors, reference headphones, and you're still hitting that noise floor, might be a problem. Second of all, as I just noted when I plugged in this little guy, there was a firmware update. So make sure you're on the latest firmware update. And then if you're still having trouble, I would definitely reach out to Shure. Because number one, I know that they're listening. Number two, I know exactly who's going to get the email. And number three, if they give you any shit, I can call them and say, look, bro, that's my homie. Take care of it. So no, I'm just saying, I can tell you point blank, especially with the type of interfaces that we're dealing with. Now, I don't want to belay anyone's wallet or credit card. But the type of interfaces that we're dealing with at sub $1,000, the headphone amp is not the cleanest. Okay, it just isn't. They don't put that kind of money into it. When we were in Shure and we were doing some testing, this freaking Mario pulls out a $1,500 headphone amp so we could check out what's going to probably be a $150 mic. And I was like, Kurt and I both were like, y'all distract Mario so we can snatch this headphone amp. Okay, because the headphone amp was dope, you know? And so you might be listening to one thing. The other thing I tell you, always do a couple recordings with the levels at different things, drop it into Audition, Logic Pro, GarageBand if that's all you got, and check it there. The other thing that you can check it with is something known as Ulean voice meter. And unfortunately, I have something that's interfering with mine. Let me see if it works now that I switched back to the Rodecaster Pro. Yeah, it says
that's good to measure LUFS as well.
It's good to measure. So I can show you what the app looks like, but I have to basically redo my Mac OS in order to get mine working again. But this actually gives me a real-time metering of what I am doing when I am doing a recording for my setup. That didn't make any sense whatsoever. What I just said sounded stupid as all get. But I could do something like this and say, open up QuickTime real quick. And QuickTime is a horrible recorder, but I just want to show you so you can see how it works. Let me grab a new audio recording. And there it is here. We're going to put that right there. I'm not going to touch anything. And now I'm going to say real-time measurements are disabled because of an invalid sample rate. Go to Ulean loudness meter to preferences menu and set up a new sample rate. Now, of course, I've done all of that and it still didn't work, which means every once in a while you got to nuke and pave your system, take it all the way down to naked and start all over again. And I'll probably do that maybe over Memorial Day weekend. Wait, that's this weekend. Next weekend. I'm going to go shoot lanterns in the water. We have a thing in Hawaii called Toro Nagashi, and that's where you basically can put the lanterns in the water. So let me save this to the desktop. A lot of people don't know you can do that. You can grab the little icon paper and just drag it and call it a save. You know what I mean? All right.
So this you keep open conceivably you keep this open during a live stream and it's measuring your loudness and it can measure your guest loudness as well?
Yeah. What's measuring the output coming from your receiver. So again, I can't do a live check on this, but it says currently without me touching it, I'm basically pulling in the 21, negative 21 loudness under full scale, which is dope. Because when you go to send this to YouTube, YouTube will add the rest. I use Auphonic to add the rest, but it's actually doing really good. Now, before Daniel and Mr. Junkie Camera and the rest of those a-holes came in here and played with my audio, it was actually pulling in way lower. So they actually fixed it. Shut up. I hate y'all. Y'all irritated. Turn that off before I get mad at them. There's also a website version. You can try. Let's do this real quick. Let's go over to the old browse window. And where did you go, Tromy? Let's open up the Chrome, and then let's go YOULEAN, Loudness Meter. Online. The online isn't as gangster as the real app. I just bought the app. There's a free version, but as you see, it's giving me what my gain is. I'm hitting the yellow there as it should, but let me go and make a couple of settings. So I want to do negative and I want to do loudness under full scale. And just to show you that this son bitch is accurate, we get rid of this. I am still pulling that negative 21 on average, but if I get loud, all of a sudden it cranks up. Ah!
Too bad you don't have 32-bit float.
Right? Oh my God, that's another fight. One last place to check it. If you're in this business, podcast.adobe.com. Damn, he can't type. Do that again. podcast.adobe.com. Bingo. They got something here called mic check. My mic sounds nice. Check one. So we can go here and say test the mic. And how is my microphone placement? Microphone
check. 1, 2. What is this?
Why is it not testing? Do I have this thing allowing? Please allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho.
Oh.
H to the OV. Let's see. I thought it was real time, but maybe it's not. Nope, it's good. So it's saying that my gain, I can go a little higher. No background noise, no echo. But yeah, basically I'm doing a little gravy there. It's telling me to turn down my gain, but that was probably because me yelling. But you know what I'm saying? So there's a couple different places where you can check this stuff out and make sure you're getting down with the get down. But 9 times out of 10, a lot of times when we're judging signal, like hiss in our ear, it is literally the shitty headphone amp. Back in the day, there would be a mic, SM7B, for example, and when the consumer market started out, if they wanted to have a switch, so Shure produced SM58S, 100%. And I remember I wanted to have the switch in mind because in the club, I didn't want to have the mic on and be accidentally like, hey, girl, like after this is over, what you finna do? And then you can hear that in the club. So I had mine with the little switch. And then we went to wireless, and it was better because you can just mute it. Most of us don't have the room acoustics to be able to get the mic at the high gain and introduce room noise, and you need to determine if the noise is actually preamp noise. Exactly what I said. See, my brother and I were trained by the same man. Love you, Pops. June, we should go by and see Dad today or tomorrow if you got time. Let's go.
Again, we're talking about the 98% here. 98% of people, they don't have room treatment like a lot of us do. They're not hearing that, and by the time it gets to other people's ears, who knows? I saw Sean's thing that he's having an issue. Sean, there's a slider on Plus Motive where you can hear just your monitors, and then you can mix between just your monitor that's coming out of the MVX2U and what's coming via your computer, your USB.
Right. So here's the monitor here. So right now this is set for NV88 because that's where I am. But let's say I was to take the Rodecaster Duo right here, and then you have a monitor action here. Unfortunately, my monitor, I can set it for where I'm plugged into. So let's just say I had the monitor plugged into the MV88, and then now I have some controls for the monitor so I can adjust how loud that monitor is right there.
Yeah. I'm guessing, though, he's are you Motive Mix or are you still Shure Plus Motive? Because I'm not sure, no pun intended. MVX2U works. I haven't tried it with Motive Mix, but I'm assuming that you have those controls in there.
Okay.
I don't have.
Well,
I don't have a cigarette lighter.
Let's cover this though. If I go to the Rodecaster Pro and I mute my microphone, I still hear myself in the headphone because you're supposed to.
Right.
That's what monitoring is. So muting yourself in any mixer is still going to come into the headphones because your headphone mix is different. Now you can set your headphone mix to be post fader level, which means after the adjustments, and then when you press mute, it would actually mute in your ear, right? So there's monitoring the bus, and then there's monitoring the submix or the mix, and your interface will control that. So in your microphone, in the MVX2U, that is an interface, and so the monitoring situation is monitoring the submix. So over here, when you click on this little guy, it says output volume, right? That's what we're doing. So if you want to mute the monitor here, you have to actually mute the monitor, right? So there's a difference. So you are, because the reason for that is you should be able to mute the channels and then adjust some other stuff. And that's why on larger mixers, there is a PFL button so that you can hear it while you're muted and then make adjustments accordingly. Yeah, so that's not a bug or a feature. That's what it is. Now, this is, I get where you're going. I get where you're going. You should never in a million years, what you just did was you compared a Porsche 911 to a S.60. They're two different cars. They're both luxury, but they're completely different cars. One is the sit down, look cool, look swagoo, and the other one is the dust the cops. Like, a shotgun mic should never in any way, shape, or form be compared to an SM7B. Just not even the same thing. And to be honest with you, regardless of what people on the internet tell you, for all intents and purposes, a MKH 416 should not be used indoors. It's not what it's designed for. That shotgun mic is not a studio mic. People do it because of tiny desk and shit, but that's not what it's for.
It's like right now I've got this new Shure Nexodyne mic that I'm speaking into, and I'm switching back and forth between that and the SM7B, right? Well, you're telling it I can switch back and forth, and I've set this up as best as I can, but ultimately it's a completely different microphone that's really just made for stage vocals for musicians because it's got the two transducers in it. Oh yeah, it's got those two motors in it. If you're singing and you got drums popping behind you, and you got the bass player with the Ampeg stack, and you got the Marshall stacks over here, and you're a vocalist and you're traveling around the stage, this microphone's gonna take a lot of that stuff out. Not 100% of it. I mean, this isn't magic, like Doc said. But it's going to take it. I wanted to hear how it sounded in my studio so I can kind of compare it. And I love the way it sounds, but am I going to use it as a podcast mic? Not really. I'm not. It's not made for that. And so I'll just do while you're cranking there, Doc, you can go ahead and interrupt me, but I can just do a difference here between the Shure Nexodyne, and this is super cardioid version. They make a cardioid and they make a super cardioid version of it. So this is the super cardioid because I like to think that I'm Clark Kent. So here we go. This is a Nexodyne, Shure SM7B. You can totally tell the difference. I mean, immediately you went from stage vocals to broadcast studio, and this is like this is exactly the same distance between the two microphones. SM7B, I am running through a Cloudlifter CL1 both into a Rodecaster Pro 2, and now I just switched over to the Nexus 9. Presence is another thing. Do you hear the presence boost, Doc?
Dude, the presence is there, bro.
High mids went right up with that microphone. But I mean, I do love the way it sounds, but if I was on stage, maybe singing "Living on a Prayer" with Doc doing my BGVs, that might be and that might be that's happening right now. I have a feeling, right?
Living on a prayer. Whoa,
Oh
whoa.
man, dude, you went straight to the key change.
That is so good.
Yeah, but you're gonna get more of you're gonna get maybe some mouth clicks. You're gonna get it's not meant to like totally kill your plosives, that kind of thing. You still got to worry about your mic technique. But I mean, if somebody were behind me right now, playing drums, your mixer out front would be just like praising you and loving you because of this microphone. And the other cool thing, Doc, I don't know if you realize this, is that you unscrew essentially the top of this thing and you could use it wirelessly. So if you've got a wireless, bottom mic, you could just take the capsule right off and screw it onto a wireless deal, and then obviously this is the wired version of it, but really cool. Yeah, and it's cool to see inside the what do they call it, Revonic technology with the dual transducers. Yeah.
So this guy has like they actually motors in here, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get this set to right. But yeah, there's little motors in here so that when you're talking to it, the motors help reject some of that noise and make it sound delicious. Nexodyne spelling is exactly right. Yo,
yeah,
see, that's why she went to
coach.
law school. She's brilliant. Kelly's going to punch me after this.
You're welcome, Sean Park.
Yo, for sure, man, for sure. Dude, this thing is sexy, bro. These guys went out. This is an 8S. I got an 8S. Mine is for Sean. Chris might have got an 8C. Get it?
I got
No,
S. It's stupid.
Oh, Chris Stone, you can do both. You can get two, Chris. Tell them they owe you one. You actually can rock both. All right, let me plug this sucker in.
I got both those logos on it, though. They put Cast Ahead on one side, Dealcasters on the other. So
look at that, fam. Here, wait. Let me go.
Let's get close up on that. Solo that.
The overhead bingo, and then let's put a little Chris over here. Wait, I did that wrong. It's Luda, Chris. Get it? He's stupid. Yo, listen, folks. Look at that. Look at that logo. It is my face, and then if you rotate it, boom. Oh my God, looks like a professional rock and roller. This is so incredible. Incredible. Wait, why is Chris muted over here? All right, isn't that dope though, fam? Like, to me, that was the best part of it. It was one thing that they gave us Nexodynes, because, hey, I'm down for that life. But when I walk out and they're like, oh, why don't you open it? And then I open it, I was doing something. Mary Lou was doing all the work. And then she's like, wait till you open it. And I opened it, and I was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Monty just renamed the show. It's Rock and Stone. What's up, Monty Weaver? Monty was there.
Yes. Let me get this in there. There we go. Okay. So that is in there now. And then I have my mic 2. I have my mic 2 potted onto not a fader. So I probably should move it to a fader.
It's a good thing LD's not on the stream. I got a Heil shock mount.
Oh, I have a Heil PR40 in the brand new in the box.
Great mic.
Everybody says when I go on Twit, I should set it up and stop being the one person that's not using the Heil on Twit. I'm like, you know what it is, people. All right, let me use the Rodecaster app to move this fader to a physical fader. Oh, I just realized something. This whole time, okay, we got that. You mean synchronizing the device? You don't synchronize nothing up in here. I've never seen that before on Rodecaster. Have you ever seen this synchronizing device thing before?
No.
Me neither.
Wait, do you have the Oh, you must have their app open. You've got the Central open,
Yeah, I just
Rode
opened it.
Central.
And it said synchronizing device. I have never seen that before. Let's see what it does this time.
It's just downloading all of your information and sharing it publicly. That's all.
I don't care. Right,
You got nothing to hide.
I damn sure don't. Like, we were having that conversation when we were out the other night. We were talking about how, this is dynamic, yes. Let's move it over here. Let's use the generic dynamic. Did you set it up to your Rodecaster?
The Nexodyne?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just plugged it in XLR.
Oh, nice. Okay. I don't
And
wanna
then
record
just
it.
it's got very little processing on it. I just
All
set it up as a dynamic mic in Rodecaster. I mean, I have a tiny bit of compression on it, no EQ. This is straight, and slight gate on it.
Bingo. Dynamic. And we don't need.
Because I don't know about you, when you go to test a mic on doing a YouTube video, you get a lot. You usually get shade from a lot of people, but when you've got any processing when you're testing a mic, whoo, man, people are gonna let you know. People are gonna let you know.
Right.
Oh,
They go.
too much compression pumping is usually what you'll get.
Well, and
I get
I'm
it, though.
Not a fan of compression pumping anyway.
Right. Yeah, you got to do it right.
All right. Look, let me move this to a fader because right now it's getting on my nerves. That's why. All right.
It's like foundation, right? You don't want to put too much makeup on.
There we go. Ooh, wow. Good Lord.
Yeah, you don't want to. Ooh, that actually sounds pretty good on you.
Damn.
I think I might need to hear some John Bon
hold on.
Jovi from you.
Listen. Wow. Just in my head, as soon as I
Yeah, it's
popped it on,
crispier.
like, yo,
That's
sounds like
no
Britney
processing?
Spears on cocaine. Wow. Listen to that.
You got no
Yo, I'm not
processing
even-
on it?
No. Let me open the
Wow.
app back up. Wow. Yo, you know what? I might
think
be
I
the
need to-
only
I think
person out here podcasting with a Nexadizzle.
Let's hear in the chat what song they want Doc to sing. How about that?
Wow.
How about we take requests? You want to take
We
requests?
can hear more of your tones. It makes sense. Thank you. You know what? See, here's the funny thing, Keely. You and what's the dude name right above you? Paul, Chris, June. You guys have seen me in person, so you know what my voice actually sounds like, right? So of course now my voice is going dumb. Yo, what are you doing? Synchronizing the device. I'm trying to make an adjustment to the setting.
Oh, it's doing this. I would just can you just close down Rode Central?
Yeah, well, I moved
do it
the mixer really far away now because no problem. I could just use the app to make it work.
Oh, okay.
And then today, for the first time ever, it's actually giving me. Shut up.
June.
Listen, dude, I'm telling you, man.
Oh, here we go.
All right, so I am on
Oh,
channel
you've got
2.
it set on the pod mic.
It switched on me somehow. Okay, so you want it on dynamic, and then
I think we need some 200 hertz. I think we need a bit of a. We need to add a little.
We're gonna go
Maybe
to
just. I'm
processing.
used to hearing your voice with that broadcasty low end, and then all of a sudden it's kind of not there.
yeah, right.
I miss it
Okay.
a little bit. I never thought
now
I'd
we
say
got
that.
Turn that off, and then turn that on. Turn that off. Turn it on. We're checking. All right, yeah. Now, do not do check 1 2s when you're testing your microphone. Say something. Have a full conversation. Say something, smart and intelligent, and just have a conversation. And then you realize, okay, high pass filter is unnecessary. Then we go to the de-esser. I'll leave that. Noise gate. I cannot stand noise gates. Automatically remove those.
Doesn't look like you have anything there.
All right.
Like it
the
did. I didn't see
compressor.
any level of noise anyway.
Now we turn the compressor off. So now you're hearing it, just no compression. And then I'll turn the compressor back on and you can see immediately what the compressor is doing, right? You know what I mean? When you get in there and you turn that off, I can see the compressor like crushing. So I can back the compressor off a little bit and come to like a 2.2. And now we're hearing the 2.2 to 1 and it's still heavily compressed, but I would take my threshold and move me to like 24. There we go. So there's that. Now I can put some of the gain back, but I don't think I need it.
Right.
Actually, I do need to add it. If I'm gonna use the compressor, then I got to crank the gain up a little bit more to put myself back into where it is. But now, look, still not grabbing any room noise. But you know what? I don't know, man. I think it sounds fine without the compressor. Okay, and then in my equalizer, that's about right. Which is
I'm not hearing a lot of difference when you make these changes,
really,
to be honest. Yeah.
That's strange. And then there's the big bottom, no big bottom. I can definitely tell that the stupid noise gate, though, it needed to die.
I definitely turn off that exciter. Are you panned dead center?
Keely says we are hearing a massive difference at home. Okay, so check your ears now. I'm going to go all the way to the left, and I definitely hear that. And then all the way to the right, and I definitely hear that. And I could like, bingo.
Yeah, you went out when you went far right. So, yeah. Yeah.
Paul says better without the compressor. See, again, the Afix compressor that's built into the Rodecaster does not do dock properly. I just have a range that can't be faded. So
you need that DBX 286.
Dude, this is what I talked about in class, right? When I said, yo, a lot of you don't realize this, but the DBX 286 is really much about that life. Now, I'm curious here, though, what the level, I guess the level is pretty good, but yeah, we'll leave that there. We'll stop messing with that. And then we'll close that. We'll call it a day. We're not going to press that button anymore. This actually sounds kind of good.
I like it. And it is a clear difference. I wouldn't say one's better than the other, but I would say, you know, some may like it, you know?
See, and this goes back to, I guess we were kind of explaining this to Sean, but in a slightly different manner. Sorry, people, for the noise. I'm going to make some adjustments here. I want the cable out of my way. Get out of my face.
You could test handling noise, too. I thought the handling noise, I compared it to the SM58, and it has way less handling noise than the SM58.
Unless you're doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So the one thing that's, yes. Yeah, you're just used to being on radio. I prefer the sound without the compression. What you know about game? Yes, definitely. I prefer my voice compressed because I'm used to listening to it in the radio ears. Now, the thing, going back to Sean a little bit, the thing about subjectiveness of mics, right? And at the end of the day, to Yolanda and Sean both, we were talking about the SM7B and the MV7 and the MV7 plus SM7DB and now the Nexodyne. You know what? Your voice might sound better not on a Shure microphone. And none of us would be mad about it. Like, none of us would be mad. Unfortunately, the problem with the consumer industry as it stands right now, because you guys, I'm not going to blame all you guys, but trust me, my brother and I have feelings about this. We had a very thriving electronics store, and when you came into the shop, we could plug things up. We could let you hear it, swap them out, let you hear it, swap them out, let you hear it, help you make some executive decisions, give you the knowledge that our pops had, you know, being a sound guy for many, 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 many years. He has forgotten more about sound than you ever learned. And we were able to help people make really good choices.
Yeah.
At this point in time, you have to listen to Chris, myself, Tom Buck, Bandrew, like other people talking on the internet, and you got to try to make decisions, which theoretically can't work until you actually spit some vocals, right? So a prime example, Mary Lou was very curious about this because she's very curious about audio at the moment. And there's a picture rolling around of Taylor on the Eras tour and her multiple different microphones. Mm-hmm. And most people in the audience think she's just changing the microphone according to the outfit for the style. No, she has custom capsules for, they're Shure handles, but she has custom capsules that are custom built for her. That's this part right here. She swaps them out according to the arena, according to the stress on her voice from the night before, according to, say, even maybe the humidity, because humidity does jack with your voice.
Yep.
So even someone who knows exactly what they're doing, yeah, Jay, I don't have a scan of that. We have the OG picture, but maybe we got to scan that. Bring it down and we'll scan it. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yo, it's funny just to see my dad in the old studio with the gigantic records like this big, like when Paul was born, kind. Yeah, so you swap capsules out accordingly. Even guitarists swap amps according to the arena. They don't always run a double Marshall stack.
Perfect analogy. Right? It's like
me,
every song is different, right? If there's an acoustic, song, yeah. If you get one that kind of hits everything down the middle, like a 58, or something like that, what you're gonna get. But when you adjust your voice and sing a certain way, and you can switch mics like that, I think that's, and I love the fact that what's going into the mic is actually her voice. And it's not some canned track that's coming through the monitor. Don't get me started on that, because your mic doesn't even matter. But it's somehow, for whatever reason, tracks have, unfortunately, one of the members of Milli Vanilli has died at this point. But those gentlemen were crucified for lip syncing, and now it's like every time you turn on your television, somebody's lip syncing or performing.
Everybody's doing it,
and it somehow has become accepted. Which
Keely
is like,
has
I can
it,
go
dude.
off on that.
Keely got it perfectly. This is starting to make sense. A stage mic is going to do a better job of picking up all of your variants, because that's what you want when you're singing. A pod mic will smooth all of that out. And yes, to that brand specifically, they said, Ryan told me that they tuned that guy for the widest possibilities for the most normie voice. As you guys, again, who know me in person, I do not have a normie voice. Right? I would say Chris doesn't really have a normie voice. And if you want to know what a normie voice sounds like, listen to all of the nerds that are like OpenAI should be sued because they have Scarlett Johansson's voice. Scarlett Johansson has a normie voice. I know many of females that sound just like that. Like, that is the traditional, I want to sound important operator voice. You can call Target today, and unless you get, someone who's Esau, you might find someone on the phone that sounds like that. Now, here's what's more crazy. The, what do you call that? If you would like to talk to the Discord department, press 1. If you'd like to talk to the moderator department, press 2. If you'd like to talk to the complain in the chat department, press 3. You can call several different places, and they're going to be different, but they all have a very similar sound, right? And the sound that they're looking for is ethno-agnostic, age agnostic. You know what I mean? They want a real normie sounding voice.
Right.
So when the person is synthesizing the voice, or they brought in a voice actress, they did not tell her to try to sound like ScarJo. She just did. Right. But it's absolutely arrogant to be like, oh, they just took my voice and they made it. No, they didn't, bro. You have a normal sounding voice. There's probably like 6, 7 different actresses who you can think of that sound like her too. Like, I just thought that was silly. Like, that is super silly. If it was Fran Drescher, that's different talk, right?
Oh, Doc. Oh, Doc. Doc Rock.
Different.
It's some coffee, Doc Rock. Yeah, you know what? You're kind of proven right now. Just you went on this Doc tangent, and you were moving around, and at one point you moved forward on the mic, and at another point you're moving back and around. So we're hearing right now the what makes the Nexodyne different than a podcast mic, right there.
Right. That's what Keely brought up.
Yeah. And so, and when you want to make a point, you're going to lean in, right? And you're going to get closer to that mic. You want something that's going to respond to it and not clip, you're not boost your gain too much, and a good podcast mic will be able to attenuate that. That's not what this is.
And here's what's funny.
Can it be used for podcasting? Yeah, but it's not the best
for it. It's not a podcast mic. This stand though, is picking up the fan noise from my HDMI thingy, deck link. I'm gonna take this diaper and I'm gonna put it under the stand real quick. Ooh, that was dumb. And now the sound is gone. You guys hear that? Okay, we're gonna do this again. Let me lock these off. And then I'm gonna put it back on the table.
Oh yeah.
Right? That fan is the fan that's in the DeckLink quad. And when I'm quiet, you can hear it. Take the diaper. Problem solved.
Diaper pro tip.
You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people, like going back to Sean, you're hearing room noise. You might be hearing vibrations from your desk going through your arm. You know what I'm saying? Something as simple as that. So anyway, let me switch back to my normal microphone.
Yeah, and then we got rich clarification on the Milli Vanilli. Thank you. You are correct, sir. Milli Vanilli, actually, that album was recorded by people that weren't Rob and Fab. Can't believe I remembered their names. Yeah, so I'm switching back to my podcast mic. LD got you got enough Nexodyne love. All right.
Yo, I just pulled this out of my Rodecaster Duo. What the heck is that?
What is
that? And it's lubricated. It's like something for the fader. Oh well, that was odd. Yeah, I mean it doesn't affect. It works, but
here's something I didn't do any research on. I do have the Pro 2. Does the Duo have the same preamps?
Yes.
Okay. I thought so.
That little plastic, it controls the like extra friction in the fader. So mine broke somehow, and this fader that you're on is extremely loose now.
Uh-oh.
Well, here's the cool thing. I got another brand new one in the box, so I'll swap them and send this one to get fixed.
So,
speaking of which,
Discord
we got
coach
more
says,
cool stuff coming. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He says her ears can rest. So,
of course. Man, this is dope. Like, this is really dope. And again, I'm hopefully we're able to. June said flying faders. Now, remember back in the day when everybody wanted to make sure that when you powered up and go, that was. I remember when they first came out, people were just like, look. And the one we had was the Yamaha O2. It was just like, click, you could hear all the. Anyway, it's super stupid. Flying faders. This was really cool, Chris. And I guess I would posit to you, what was the number one thing that you learned at the Shure experience, and what was the number one thing you enjoyed about the Shure experience?
I think them really listening, right? There's a lot of things you don't like. They get all this feedback in, and then they don't just like sort all the feedback and let everyone else know. Here's what we've heard. The Move mic was too expensive. There's plosives, on the MV7. Did they admit that? Sure, but they don't. No pun intended. But they didn't. They don't come out and publicize it either. They just adjust it with the new products that are coming forward. And yeah, we can't tell you what's coming in the next year or two that they shared with us. But what I learned was, just because they're about to be 100 years old and have been manufacturing some of the greatest microphones and have won some of the most prestigious audio engineering awards that there is, they continue to listen to musicians, podcasters. There was a huge conversation about faith-based stuff that they know. Like, listen, they're willing to say, hey, listen, There are some companies that are eating our lunch on this, and they're eating our lunch on this, and eating our lunch on this, but they know that they do one thing excellently, if that's even a thing. And so they continue down there, and they're listening to us. And so the 11 people that were there, from creators and musicians and everyone, it was like, I felt like, Doc, and I don't know if you felt like this as well, is that you could speak on behalf of your particular community. I could speak on behalf of my particular community. And then they were, listening, and then maybe saying, well, here's why that is. And, and here's what we're doing to accommodate that. Case in point, one of the people is a huge music producer, and he started talking about how he didn't like the Move mic, and how it didn't work with dumb Bluetooth, and how this, that, and the other. And they just basically said, look, because of the quality issue, we're not using regular Bluetooth, and we will not compromise on audio quality. And that's all. That's exactly what I needed to hear. And so for me to be able to share that with people, they can say, okay, this is why it's this much. And look, it may not be for you because you don't have that budget, or it may not be for you because of the way it might look, or all of those kinds of things. But trust me, it's for more people than just you. And so that's what I got out of it from a summary perspective. It was really cool to actually be in the same room with engineers and designers and all these, and them being able to, just like you said, man, scribbling, hammering out notes the whole time, following up with questions that we, of things we said 20 minutes prior, like all of those kinds of things. They're listening, they're addressing these things, and it felt really great to be a part of it.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I love the fact that they're listening. I love the fact that they're taking notes. And I think it's hard for people to understand that sometimes this thing that you think you want it because you saw it somewhere else, but it doesn't necessarily fit here, okay? So the world's coolest ski lift with the most comfortable chairs and smooth cables and all, don't mean not a damn bit of good on Kilauea. People be trying to put all the features of other products in the same other products, in which case if they all had the same, there'd be no differentiation. And because of the many types of people, many types of music, many types of productions, you do have to have some variance in product. All the products can't be the same. And I don't know why consumers think that, oh, we should just make this one exactly like this one, right? And so when they say we're going to stick to our guns and we're not going to put, junk Bluetooth inside of the really good microphone, by the way, it makes all the sense in the world, right? Like, that was legit. So I agree with you on that part. For me, it was in conversation towards the end. We're talking about one of the new products, and then when they pulled it out, at first nobody got it. I got it right away because I'm the nerd. I think maybe Chris came right after me. All the young kids was like, "What? I don't get it." And then
it looks like this. It looks like this. It looks like this, right?
Yeah, they were comparing like they're going by what their physical ideas were. And as he was explaining it, we were just like, Mother F Dre, this is like, and then as they slowly went through what they're talking about, and people's eyes just started going wider and wider and wider, because it shows their level of creativity, it shows their level of thought, it shows their level of care, and it's brilliant, and I can't believe nobody's done this so far.
I know. It was that was my first thing. Like, how is this the game changer? Like, how did right? I feel really bad that we're teasing people.
Yeah, I'm
a lot,
sorry, because we have no idea
product
when it's coming out. They didn't give us any heads up. It was still in thought process. But one of the guys, Mike, went through and he showed us how they take a product from conception all the way into a final product. And I've had experience with them on this because the Move mic that we all got, I actually got 3D printed versions of like a year ago. And I got to play with them and send them back and be like, yeah, it needs this, 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 and this. excuse me, only one of my suggestions made it, but it made it late too, nonetheless. My suggestion came way later. However, it was my suggestion, and I think I have mine in my pocket because it sticks to the back of my AirPods. They gave us a little magnet clip for the back of the Move mic. And that was one of the first things on my suggestion list when I got the first one. And when it came out without it, I was like, why y'all send me that? Y'all listen to me. And they're like, shut up, dude, it's coming.
So case in point, what I said about earlier about them listening to us, you remember this is a different product, but they basically came out and they said, okay, here is a product we already have. If you could change anything about this product, give me the things you would change about this product. And we said X, Y, and Z. And they said, okay. And then they hit the slide deck and they showed it to us. And it was like X, Y, and Z are solved with this product. And that just shows you like even before we knew anything, they were like, it has this problem. I wish it had this, and I wish it had this. And they hit the slide and we were like, how did you do that? How did you know that we were going to say those three things and that this product solved those three things? That was amazing.
Okay, and the thing that I learned that blew my mind, these guys make the boxes and they drop the boxes from 6 feet. They have a machine that shakes the items for 2 weeks straight, right?
It replicates a semi-truck,
Imagine these microphones are all packed into a thing because you're going to a concert and you got Pentatonic. They got all 5 of these mics need to work. There is a machine that literally for 2 weeks solid, and they take them out and test it. Yeah. They have a freezer. They have a heater. They buy fake sweat at $700 a bottle.
The fake sweat. I forgot about the fake sweat.
They buy fake sweat at $700 a bottle, fam. To make
Doc and
sure
I did shots. Did shots of the fake sweat.
Make sure it doesn't work. They put tequila on microphones because you're going to be in a dive bar, like all of the above. I'm like, hey,
the
who
mic
gets to
drop
test the
machine
tequila
was
mics?
Awesome. So I don't know if you noticed the mic drop machine. So like there's one guy in the plant, and his whole job is to drop the mics. Literally drop the mics.
He's the OG mic drop.
And so what they do is they hook it up, right? So if you want to drop it directly, they have put a 58 in there, and if you want to drop it directly on top so that it lands on the top, if you think about it, if you were to drop a mic like this, it may not land directly on the top. It may move or whatever. But the mic drop machine actually lets go of the mic but travels with the mic so that it holds it or keeps it from turning. So it will, and then they test it and they move it to the side and they move it to another way so they can test every single point that a mic will drop on itself.
And this is the kind of stuff that they do. This was like Aubrey's mic. It got ran over by a semi, but it still worked. And then so they asked the person, hey, send it to me. We'll send you a new one. And they keep it in the lab so they can investigate it and figure it out. Sorry, the picture was harder because I was too busy laughing at how jacked up it was. And the other one that they gave me was a mic that survived the fire. And I actually got to speak into it and test the microphone that survived the fire, but it's a video, and if I play that, we're going to make all kind of trouble. Let me not do that. Anyway, yes, absolutely crazy. So, Aubrey, you could throw your mic across the room. It's still good.
Yeah.
So, that was it. I mean, literally, gang, I really enjoyed I enjoyed the visit. I enjoyed having the opportunity to learn. But something I tell all you guys, when the opportunity comes, bro, go meet your people. Like, to me, the highlight of the trip was hanging out with Chrissy, hanging out with Monty getting the apartment while we had regular rooms. Monty had the freaking presidential suite, like upstairs, downstairs, jacuzzi. I was like, Monty, what the hell, bro? How'd you do it?
No, you know why that is. That was supposed to be Laura's room, and then she felt too bad about moving him out.
That's what I said. I would have kicked his butt out. Like, get the hell out of my room. So it's really good to go and like have this opportunity. And one thing that Side said in our meeting which I want to share with the family. Sides was talking about being a creator and all of the myriad things that you have to do. And, somehow we got into this conversation about, clicks and conversions and all this other stuff. And Side said, my only goal every day is to bring one more fan. Not just follower, not just clicker, not just watcher, one more fan. And I was like, that is dope. That is dope. The true fan, the true believers, the people who are down, if you can just attack your business as to, I need to attract one more good, high quality folk to my party now, that's dope. And, over the beginning of the year, we've added some new people, right? We got Sean Park, who's in the chat today. We got Yolanda, who's in the chat today. They came, they had a question, they stay, Like Dina had this thing she used to say, I came for the software, but I stayed for the community, right? And I think that was one of the most brilliant things that she said that entire time. And then the other one, which I learned it because it came to my head in the middle of the conversation, but it was something that I said. We're entrepreneurs first that just happen to create. We call ourselves creator because it's the common vernacular, but we're entrepreneurs first. So, for us, like, we are about this business. And, for that matter alone, we treat it this way. And because we've decided to treat it this way, one of the benefits that we got was being invited by Shure to come and hang out at their headquarters. And I just want to take the lucky crap off the table. No, we weren't lucky, bro. We worked. And we put in time and effort. And the time and effort is why we get trusted by the brands, for them to give us product ahead of time that we can check out and share with you. And send me a bunch of 3D printed microphones and be like, what do you think about these? What would you change? Yeah. And I've done that for Rode and Shure.
It's a value exchange, right?
A value exchange.
It wasn't like, oh, we're being selected to be taken care of and to stay in Chicago. This was a value exchange. This is like, how can we make it?
Stay somewhere. Chicago wouldn't be it.
Yeah, right.
They got lasagna pizza. What the hell?
Dude, I'm in for the. I'm here for the Chicago style stuffed pizza. But man,
that was actually pretty good.
I love that phrase though. You came for the software. You'll stay for the community, man. That needs to be a thing. I mean, like a thing, not like somebody said it. Like, use that. That's all. Just being someone from a 10,000 foot view and don't work for Ecamm, love the software, part of this community, whatever. That phrase says it, man. That says it. Yeah. You'll come for the software, you'll stay for the community.
Man, I think that's awesome. It was super impressive. Thank you for hanging out this week. And it's a trip to finally get to meet you in person after all of this shit talk we've been doing on the internet for the last how many years. I see Jim multiple times. I was like, man, where the hell is Chris? Oh, he couldn't make it this week. So to me, like, honestly, getting the final chance to catch your brother, that was amazing. And, keep doing what you do. And people, if you learn nothing from us today, just keep doing what you do, man. Somebody is waiting to hear exactly you. Like, it just is what it is. I seen Laura singing in the park, and people we don't even know stop by and shedding a tear while she's singing her song. Dude, first, Laura can sing, bro. I already knew, but it was different live in the park in Chicago. And Laura can sing. Oh my God, it was just great. So, people, I will see you in class. For those of you who don't know about these things, please drop into the old Discord, sign up, and remember to come and hang out with us in the Discord. We're forever learning in there. Yolanda, let's get some time to get you squared away to see if we can get your stuff dialed in. You don't have to wait for me specifically. Pretty much anybody in the community will help. You could try the Ecamm Discord or the LGL Discord. Somebody will dive in and get you set up. And yeah, thank you guys. If anything we mentioned in the show, I'll go back in and put links in the description. Those links, if you purchase from them, yeah, they do help us out. That's how we keep the show going. And, yeah, I think I have been really shy about talking about the super chats or whatever. Like, I don't really do that. I don't really mention it or bring it up. But then I was listening to Kira talk about, what she does for her TikTok and the gifting structures. We had a long conversation at dinner. I think those of us on our side of the table, we need to learn to do that more.
Mm-hmm.
We need, like, it's one thing to talk to the brands and get the brands to pay you and show you work, but it's another thing to have the confidence to ask for the super chats and things. And I just not something that I do, but I got to figure out a way. I learned from the young ones this week a whole bunch of stuff too. It
Right?
wasn't just sure. We got to learn from each other, which was
True.
phenomenal.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy. Thank
Doc,
you, brother.
thanks so much, man.
Appreciate you. All right, fam. I will see you guys in class. Y'all be good. Stay out of trouble. And I'll see you on Tuesday. Shoots. That did not work.
City of mine, how I love the city of mine.